Hello there. Scotty or not, welcome back to Dis-Cember. Today, we are talking about Cadet Kelly. Kelly. What are you looking at? Well, you're looking at her and she's looking at you. So I don't know why I'm... See, they're just looking at each other. Oh, no! Spoiler alert on the next one. Cadet Kelly. So this was one... Kelly. This was one... Obviously, it wasn't my forte, as it was more pushed towards girls. But I did watch it a couple times back in the day because I had a crush on both of the two leads. Yeah. I had a thing for both Hilary Duff and Christy Carlson Romano. But that was then and this is now, and they wouldn't go anywhere near me because I'm fat, bald. I was like this. Anyway, so yeah, it was one I watched. This isn't one that I had on VHS or anything that I recorded or anything, and just I watched it a couple times. If it was on, I'd put it in the background. I didn't really pay much attention, but I didn't really watch it that much back then. And then back in 2016, about 9 years ago, or 11 years ago, almost 10 years ago, 9 years ago, they were celebrating the 100th DCOM, which is the remake of Adventures in Babysitting. Which, just to touch on that, because I won't be talking about that movie. I always thought that if you're gonna have a big celebration of its 100th DCOM, can it not be a remake of something else that already existed? That's a bit cheating, isn't it? Anyway, they were playing all the DCOMs on Disney Channel. This was one of them that was on. I was having issues sleeping because of certain things going on in my life. So I would be up just laying there watching TV, and I'd have it on all the time. So I found this and another one I'll be talking about in a later video. But couple of them. I found a couple of them. Anyways. So this movie is about a girl named Kelly. Could you guess? And her thing is that the whole thing where her parents are divorced, her mom's getting remarried, and she ends up going to a military school because her stepdad, who's played by Gary Cole, is the commandant at this military school. And that's the only reason why she has to go. What has baffled me, though, is in recent years, people are calling this a secret lesbian love movie. There are people that say, oh, help me come out. And I'm just like, having just watched it, I don't see it. There's some sort of... No, there's nothing. I'm sorry, I couldn't even try to justify anything. Like, there's certain scenes where they're like nose to nose or whatever, where they're in the same scene, but no. Apparently both actresses have signed off on it, but I just don't see it. Being that I'm a straight man, maybe that's just my thing, but I don't see it. Because there's all this rainbow symbolism, right? She has a rainbow blanket, and she's doing streamers, and she paints her rainbow-colored hair. So what? You know, there was a time when rainbow just was a rainbow, right? And this was 2002, before the rainbow became the gay pride colors, or the pride colors, I guess. So, you know, you can't look back everything. Are you going to tell me that reading rainbow is for gay people? Because it's reading rainbow, right? SpongeBob, he goes, imagination. Puts on a rainbow. Is he gay? Not everything rainbow is associated with the LGBT, okay? Sometimes a rainbow, just a rainbow. And that's what this movie is to me, at least. If it did something for you, cool. But I don't see it. So So let's go ahead and talk about the movie and not about this stuff. The black shirt is messing me up because I don't think I have enough room. I do, but so Kelly's your average teenage girl. I do want to point out that both of these actresses were playing characters that are in middle school at this point in their careers, and now that these characters are in high school. Just want to point that out. That they're at high school here, they're playing in middle school, right? But, yeah. So Kelly is doing this documentary for school about all her life. And something I forgot about that, actually. And, until I watched someone's review. And I was like, oh yeah, the thing. That's why she was narrating. Wait. She was doing that for the school she was in at the beginning of the movie. Then she goes to the military school. But she's still narrating. That doesn't make any sense. Why is she still narrating if she's not in that school anymore to do that project? Because that's the whole thing, is that she was narrating because it was her school project. But she doesn't go to that school anymore. And yeah, we see that her parents are divorced, but it was amicable. So they're on good terms, I guess. We see her dad is a klutz. And her mom is dating this guy named Joe, or she keeps calling him Sir. Even in her freaking the Tucky thing, the voiceover. What Sir was mad. Sir, and I'm like, why do you keep calling him Sir? His name is Joe. But he's credited as Sir, but that's not his. He's like, you can call me Joe, call me Sir. And she's like, Sir. Okay, but like, that's not his name. Anyway, it's eventually found out that actually they're getting married, Joe and the mom, and he's been made commandant of this military school, and so she has to go. She ends up having to go to that military school because they're moving to there, as if that's the only school in that area that she can go to. And it's like, well, she's going there because he's the commandant. Okay, but why? There's no real reason. Because, like, there's a point where she's, like, she's clumsy. She, like, accidentally bumps Joe and breaks his nose with the camera, which, no, what happened? She bumped him? That would not break his nose. I'm sorry. Like, oh, she's going to mess up and he's going to want to discipline her. But no, it's just like, oh, we're moving, so you have to go to this military school. There is no real reason why she's in this military school. Like, at all. No real reason. So, Gary Cole gets a lot of hate in this movie because he's kind of an ass, but, like, you can see that he's trying. But, like, this movie is deliberately written so she has no help. Even when, like... So she gets there, and, like, she reveals to one person she's the commandant's stepdaughter. He's like, well, you need to tell them. Then maybe they'll treat you better. She's like, no, I'm going to do this myself. I'm like, bitch, why? Why? And then that doesn't even help anyway, because once it does go back to Joe, he's like, well, I'm very disappointed in you. I'm like, okay, he wouldn't have been any help anyway. He probably would have just told her, well, you have to fight your own battles. So, yeah. Like, yeah. So, the first half of this movie, I was watching this morning before work, and I'm like, I don't like this. I don't know what it is. The beginning part, once they get to the military school, the beginning part was fine. Once they get to the military school, I was like, I don't like this. It's too mean-spirited. I don't know, military schools are supposed to be very strict, but it's very mean-spirited. Like, my biggest problem is that Stone deserved what came to her when it comes. She treated Kelly like shit. Like, so you have this whole thing, there's the whole thing where, like, kind of fighting over Iceman here because Shawn Ashmore's in this. And so, because Jennifer doesn't like that, she's like, oh, you need to redo the obstacle course, even though it's not necessary, but she's making her redo it with Amy Garcia. Amy Garcia? Isn't it? And like, yeah, they're doing all that, and then the friend that she makes is Hazel from Degrassi, and I don't remember her name, so I'm going to call her Hazel. Yeah. It could be Rhonda for all I care, I don't know. I'll call her Hazel because that's what I know her as. And so she has to redo this one again. It's raining, there's mud, all that stuff. And finally they're done, she can go to the dance. And there's this ridiculous slip and fall. When she's on this hill, she slips. And she goes, whoa, all the way into the thing. She would have fallen down before she got anywhere near that door. She's like, and then she just so happens to land right on Jennifer, getting her dress covered in mud. Which, it was an accident, okay? It's a very, there's no way she did it, but there's no way she did it. Everyone's cheering for this. By the way, I don't know why, but they are. And like, Jennifer doesn't like this rainbow blanket that she has, because you can't have individuality here. But I would argue that you should be allowed to decorate your own bed. Like, first of all, this is not how military schools are, right? I don't know, because like, in Child's Play 3, for example, they had their own rooms. Well, they had roommates, but they had their own bunks, right? Here, it's a barracks, but they're all sleeping in the same room, which I don't think that's how that works, but okay. And she's like, oh, you can't have this. You can't have it. But she deliberately puts it back on there, and so then she rips it. Which, I don't care what rank you are, what position you're in. That is someone's personal property. You are destroying someone's personal property. The correct response would be to just take it. But to rip it, that is someone's personal property, and she deserves what she gets when she paints her hair rainbow. I'm sorry, she deserves it. What's her response? A court-martial. Which I don't think would work. She painted my hair, I want to court-martial her. I don't think that's in any kind of military thing. Right? And again, at this point, it was like, I don't like this. I don't know, it's too mean-spirited. And it starts to get a little more and more, like, there are points, right, where, like, she's talking to Joe, and she's like, because we find out the mom's pregnant. We're like, she just got married, and she's pregnant. She's gonna have a baby, and like, she's like, you're too uptight. You maybe should slouch sometime. I can never sit up straight like this. I try to start my videos like this, but I can never sit like this. I have to slouch. I'm sorry, so I'm doing this. But anyway, so they're like gonna teach each other, I guess. The dad comes over for Thanksgiving, or I think it's Thanksgiving. I said turkey. So he's like, "Oh, hey, I got good news. I got a job near here at this cliff that he's gonna be taking pictures. He's a photographer. Pictures at this cliff." So yeah. So due to her court-martial, she is sent to the drill team, but she's not on the drill team because that's too easy of a way to get her on the drill team. Really, with someone in the writers' room going, "Oh, we just punish her and put her on the drill team." No. She can't just be on a drill team. Gotta make her the equipment manager. Equipment manager of the drill team. And they end up losing this competition, and Iceman says, we need more flair to this. We need more flair. We need something better. And then Kelly does a dance with the gun, with the rifle. I don't think they're actual rifles. They're just like, they look plastic. So, but anyway, and little dance thing, and he's like, do it again. And again, there's not really a romance between those two either. It's just like, Well, I would hope not. He was like 25 here. So he's like the oldest of them, I think. Maybe he's not 25, but he's at least 20 by this point. I don't have my thing up. I'm going to take a nap. I'm done with this, so I'm not going to look it up. But anyway, yeah. So she talks to her other friend, played by Emma Garcia, is like, hey, teach me how to be in the drill team so I can try out. And teaches her, it's one of those montage things where she's learning how she's messing up, and then she gets it, and she's like, you're ready. And Stone's not impressed, but Iceman says, you know what, you're in. And now, after this whole movie of being disappointed, he's like, I'm proud of you. Now that you're doing what I want you to do, I'm proud. Because at this point, she's like, she's had enough. She was crying. She wants to quit and all that. And just like, and he's talking about how disappointed he is. And this was his dream job ever since he was a kid. Hold up. Back the truck up. Hold the hell on. You telling me since you were a kid, you wanted to be in charge of a military academy? Most people want to grow up be an astronaut or a firefighter or a Power Ranger or some shit. You want to be, I want to be the commandant of a military academy. No, you're going to get a wedgie. Come on. Guarantee if they were in class when he was like 7, it's like, I want to become a military academy. His head's going in the toilet. Just saying. No, I'm not saying that his dad wouldn't then discipline him when those two end up going to military school, but yeah. So now it starts to get a little bit better. The movie does, because it's not as mean-spirited anymore. She starts to get along with Stone a little bit more, and there's that dance scene everyone's talking about where she's kind of moving around in the field for some reason. Like, well, you two are going to be the ones that do the thing, so you got to coordinate it. And it just cuts to, it's time to do the military thing. It's like, okay, I went quick. We ran out of runtime or what? Yeah. But while they do their group thing, and then they do pretty good. But Kelly's phone goes off, and they're like, if that had gone off when we were out there, we would have been disqualified. I'm like, I'm sorry, but cell phone is for emergencies, and her dad's the only one that calls her on the phone, so she thinks there's something wrong. And this is where I get very confused. So she talks to Gary Cole, to Joe, and it's like, he wouldn't contact me, there's something wrong, and he's not answering when I call him back. Something is wrong. They know exactly where he is. They said he was at the thing, but he's like, okay, they're going to have to go from 4 to 3, and you and I are going to go check it out. But they tell no one that they're going out. They don't go to Iceman and say, hey, we have an emergency. Something's wrong with Kelly's dad. You're going to have to go from 4 to 3. We'll be back in time for the freestyle round, but you gotta do this without her. No, they just fucking take off. To the point that even the mom doesn't know that they left. Because when everyone starts going out to do the thing, she's like, where is she? Oh, there's also some bullshit between her and Hazel about, like, because when her best friend from old school shows up, she's like, this is my best and truest friend. And she's like, in true Hazel fashion, that if you ever watch Degrassi and you know the character of Hazel, she's perfect for this. She didn't do jack shit throughout the entire show. Her run was just background girl number 5, really. She was just there. It's like, Jimmy's doing this, and Spinner's doing this. Craig is playing guitar, and Hazel is also there. And Manny is being a slut. And Emma has an eating disorder. And Manny is and Hazel is also there. And Craig is cheating on the what's her face, Ashley. And then Paige is dealing with this guy who sexually assaulted her, and Hazel is also there. That's really all it is. All the interesting stuff happened to all these characters. The only thing that ever happened to Hazel was she got detention and met Jimmy. And even then, her biggest story is being jealous when Jimmy ends up liking Ellie. And that doesn't really go anywhere anyway. And then she's gone. That's her whole thing is she's jealous. She's jealous of Jimmy with being in love with Ellie. She's jealous when Paige starts hanging out with Alex. She is the grassy bitch. Well, no, that's Paige, but she's the second in command bitch. Jealous bitch. I don't know, but that's the whole thing. You should. It's like, but she does apologize for that. But yeah, they run out, and so Kelly reasons with Joe that she has to. Apparently, he was climbing something. He fell off the cliff and got knocked unconscious. So she has to rappel down, and she talks to Joe, and she's like, "I have to do it because you're too heavy. I won't be able to pull you back up." Okay. But Joe called for rescue assistance. So he could go down there and make sure the guy's okay, then the rescue people can come and pick them up. Yes? No, this is her movie. She's got to do it. She has to rappel down there. But, oh no, they do the thing where the rope's not long enough. And she's asked to jump down, and she does, and he's fine. And then he gets taken away in the wee-woo wagon. The ambulance. And then she goes back in time, and they're all like, "You were gone." And he's like, under my orders, she was removed from the one thing. They don't explain it still. But no, they do a little dance thing. Which, by the way, when they start, music is playing. I don't think the music is diegetic. I think it's just for us. Because when they did the thing earlier, when their opponents did one, there's no music. So I'm thinking that the music was just for us. So we didn't have to do the whole time. So I think that was just for us. It's not diegetic. It's just for us. I hope I got that right. I get confused. But yeah, they get that done. They had new streamers, which is another point to people who say this was a gay love story, which I don't see it still. And yeah, he's like, oh, and they don't win. What kind of bullshit is this? It's like, oh, we get a teacher lesson. Sometimes you don't always win. And they don't outright say it, but it's like, is it because she left and they lost points, or what? Because I'm sorry, I don't care about points. My family member is in trouble, I'm going. Just saying. I don't know. Excuse me, I really don't know. And then she's like, you know what, we can work on more stuff for next time. She's like, well, actually, my dad is getting transferred, even though I'm 18. My dad's getting transferred. And I have to move with him to like Brazil or some shit. I don't know. Somewhere. Europe? I think she just said Europe. And she has to go there. So, yeah. And everything's going to be okay because the movie just ends after they say goodbye or whatever. Yeah. It was fine. Like, I've never been big on this one. The first half of this movie was very mean-spirited. Like it was designed to be uber negative. And then once you get halfway through, after the court-martial, and you get to the whole drill team thing, that's when it starts to get a little bit better. So I'll give it a middle of the road. This didn't age that much for me. I don't know. I'd watching this. I was into it, but by the end of it, there was tears in my eyes. With a tear in my eye. Yeah, just, but, like, I like the little performance they were doing. It was kind of cool. When she saved her dad, right? And I felt for Gary Cole, too, during the Thanksgiving scene. When she shows up and she's, like, hugging all over her dad, and he's just like, Like, he doesn't know if he'll be... Oh, by the way, this is Gary Cole with mustache. And I'm surprised that when they're talking about her going to military school, he's not like, Kelly, I'm going to need you to go to military school. I had to put that in there somewhere. Anyway, middle of the road, right there. So what are your thoughts on Cadet, Kelly? This is the start of a few films that have Disney Channel stars in them. So yeah, this was 2 of them. And then this one, this is the next one. And there's 2 in this one too, not her. Him, he's not even on the thing. Talking about Brian Michael Smith. Oh, Chelsea Staub is in this too, and she would be on Disney Channel eventually. Or Chelsea Kane, is she called now? I forget she plays the bitchy girlfriend in this. Beth Littleford. I think she was the dog with the blog mom, right? That's eventually. Dog with the blog, or was she both? Was she dog with the blog and I'm in the band? I have to look it up. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'm Sky, and I'll see you in the next one.